themed Engineering a New World. Whereas the Institution of Engineers of Kenya International Convention held in Pride in Paradise Beach Resort, Mombasa, Kenya, held between the 14th to 17th November 2023, under the theme Engineering a New World, encompassing the future leaders themed The Future Leaders Fostering the Positive Impact, the Women Engineers Convention themed Beyond Excellence, the Future of the Women in Engineering, and during the same period, Kenya, represented by IEK, hosted the 18th World Council of Civil Engineers General Assembly. In this, really, there was discussion of diverse topics touching on entrepreneurship, leadership, enhancing and competitiveness of the Kenyan engineer, capacity building, networking, holistic wellness of the engineers, the job skills for tomorrow, increasing visibility for the women engineers, soft skills for engineers and the welfare, engineering for the socio-economic growth, housing, infrastructure, transport, and finance for engineering, water engineering, environment and climate change, energy, electrification, and information and communication technology, manufacturing, machinery, built environment services, and refrigeration, engineering for food security and agro industries, engineers' role in development of the Kenyan infrastructure towards the Vision 2030, emerging technologies, engineering leadership, education training, research, and practice, governance devolution, international accord, trade in services, intellectual property rights, and engineering innovation, among others. Observing that the engineering has played a fundamental role in the development and transformation of the world since time immemorial, engineering drives industrialization and modernization of the society through the development of infrastructure for housing, transportation, water resources, waste management, energy, communication, telecommunication, agriculture, mining, manufacturing, healthcare, education. Members of the engineering fraternity plays really a major role in the success of these sectors and many more. IEK recognized the need for engineering fraternity to converge regularly, discuss development in the world of engineering, and offer sustainable solutions to the myriad challenges facing society, while gaining invaluable knowledge from the insightful presentation, innovations, and research papers. Acknowledging that the Institution of Engineers of Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe recognize the efforts of Engineering Alliance within Africa context, such as really the African Accord and International Engineering Alliance, such as the Washington Accord. IEK, founded in 1972 as a learned society of engineering profession in Kenya, promotes the engineering profession and contributes to sustainable development of the country by cooperating with national, regional, and other international institutions in developing the engineering to benefit humanity. IEK membership currently stands at over 12,000 members spread across the country in 7 branches that have been established so far. Engineers Board of Kenya is a statutory body established through the Engineers Act 2011. The board is responsible for the registration of engineers and engineering firms, regulations of engineering profession, services, setting of standards, development of the engineering profession, and the development and general practice of engineering. The World Council of Civil Engineers is a global platform of civil engineers societies, civil engineering-related companies, non-governmental organizations related to civil engineering, academic institutions, and individual professional civil engineers. It was founded in the year 2005, and IEK joined as a national member in the year 2020. And the role of engineering in building Kenya's economy in housing, transport, water, irrigation, environment, climate change, energy, information and communication technology, manufacturing, food security, emerging technologies, engineering leadership, engineering education, and training, research practice, governance, devolution, and international accord, among others. Therefore, the delegates gathered for the IEK convention at Pride in Paradise Beach Resort in Mombasa, Kenya, held between 14th and 17th November 2023, resolved as follows. 1. Engineers shall develop a register of African engineers to tap into the continent's infrastructure development potential through collaborative efforts and improve their competitiveness at the global stage. 2. EBK shall endeavor to increase the number of registered professional engineers to build the capacity for the national economic development and hence eliminate malpractices in the profession. EPK will continue to foster strong links with academia, government agencies, and corporates to maintain and improve the path for young engineers towards their professional registration, ensuring that all engineering academic and training programs are recognized by EBK and also the Washington Accord. So, young engineers shall not compromise their ethics. Rather, they will focus on getting it right from the very beginning by seeking mentorship from seasoned engineers, seeking professional development, adhering to the code of engineering practice, and the use of best practices and sustainable innovations. 5, the Women Engineers Committee shall collaborate with partners to empower the women in engineering by developing their potential in engineering and leadership to achieve high level of professionalism and inclusivity. 6, IEK shall consult with government for establishment of an executive engineering council to advise the Office of the President on engineering affairs. 7, IEK shall facilitate training of engineers to up skills on public-private partnership to overcome the existing skills gap for PPP development in Kenya. Universities and technical institutions shall inculcate the PPP training in their curriculum. 8, road development agencies shall prioritize and actively contribute to the development and expansion of the road network, incorporating artificial intelligence, systems for integrated traffic control as a key element in achieving the Vision 2030. The government shall refine and operationalize the 40% local content for infrastructural projects to build capacity of local companies and create employment opportunities. 10, the government will fast-track payment of all pending payable bills. Engineers shall adopt modular housing models as a strategy for meeting the target number of units in fast, simple, and low-cost methods. Engineers shall collaborate with other professions in promoting green cities. Universities and technical institutions shall develop academic and research programs in irrigation engineering to address the capacity gap of existing irrigation engineers, technologists, and technicians. Integration of digital transformation in all areas of business to realize high efficiency in operations and supply chain, reduce cost, analytics, and improved customer experience. And lastly, the Kenyan contractors and engineers shall secure contractual engagements and payment through professional legal counsel stroke services prior to execution of the contracts. Dated the 17th November 2013 in Pride in Beach Resort, Mombasa, Kenya, signed and approved by the representatives of the convention hosts and partners. For the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Eric Oaka, the IEK president. So delegates, those are the resolutions. It's a preach document, but I think we have a much more detailed document. Mr. President, I will request maybe the rapporteurs to come on stage so that Elizabeth Kelly also, you can recognize them and maybe take a photo with them. So the 10 team of rapporteurs, please come on stage. So that's the strong team that really we have worked behind the scenes to try to have a record of this convention.
Makofi tafadhali to the rapporteurs. Thank you very much to Engineer Professor Kipkorir and his team of rapporteurs for the resolutions. Asanteni sana. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this 11th minute of the 11th hour of the day, it's my honor and privilege to say that I started as the MC for this ceremony some 2 days ago from the official opening ceremony, which was chaired by the Honorary Secretary of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Shama Kiteme. And now we are getting into the closing ceremony of this year's event.
Before we go into the opening ceremony session, I would like to the closing ceremony session, sorry. I think it has been so good, I want to open it all over again. But no, I think it's the closing ceremony. We have got a sponsor who sponsored the ladies' wallets. And I want to really appreciate him, wherever he is. I think he was mentioned. But the ladies, any woman engineer here, women engineers, if you have not picked your purse-like wallet, please remember to pick it before we go, before you leave, because there are plenty of them. So don't leave without picking yours. I think that's the announcement I wanted to make. And thank you so much to our sponsors, Soliton, Telmec, for that generous sponsorship.
I wanted her to announce where the wallets are to be picked. Gentlemen, you know what I mean. So that we know how to take advantage of this. Ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me great honor and pleasure to welcome the Honorary Secretary of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Shama Kiteme, to take us through the closing ceremony of this year's event, the 30th IEK International Convention. I'd like us to all to be upstanding as we welcome him to come, and then we go into the closing ceremony. Sawa sawa. It's been Honorary Secretary yako wapi? Okay. So then what I will do is call up on stage the chair of the Engineers Board of Kenya. So we go into the closing ceremony. So we will be upstanding because we have to now recognize the chair of the Engineers Board of Kenya. Engineer Mongera, asante sana. Makofi ni ile ya kilo. 1, 2, 3, twende. Karibu, Bwana Chairman, to take us through this closing session Funga. Tutafungua baadaye.
Thank you very much, our MC, the President of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, Engineer Mustafa Shehu, who is our chief guest this morning, the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and all accompanying presidents present today, our distinguished CEOs of various organizations who are with us this morning, and distinguished delegates riding on the protocols, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'll make very brief comments before I invite the President to address us and invite our chief guest. And I'll make my comments as a way of response to the issues that have been raised with us since Wednesday when we are in the official opening. First, I want to acknowledge our leadership of this country, led by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and his deputy, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, for having evaluated us engineers and given us a very high score. Going by what His Excellency the Deputy President told us, we are 95 good engineers. Only 5% is not meeting the required standards. And this is what has generated a number of characters. According to him, this 5% comprises of crooks, corrupt people, sellouts, and the quacks. This reminds us that we are human beings, and since the creation, we fell into sin in the Garden of Eden, and we must be aware that we shall have such people in our society. In fact, our Lord Jesus Christ, when he was on earth, and he had recruited very many disciples. If you read in John 6, verse 70 and 71, Jesus reveals to the remaining disciples, because all the other disciples, when they had the teaching about the bread of life from heaven, they took off. And Jesus told his 12, I've chosen you, but among you there are those who will betray me. And we know among them, one of them, Judas Iscariot, he was their treasurer, but he was even picking from the purse that they were receiving donations to feed themselves. I'm not saying our treasurer does that, but that is what the Bible tells us. So, what are we going to do to remedy this 5% so that they don't continue spoiling our CV? Number one, the board has created the engineering projects portal, which was launched by His Excellency the President in Naivasha in June this year. And therefore, we expect all of us engineers to register our projects there. That is security point number one. Number two, and therefore any other project coming which is not in that portal will be able to disown it and defend the engineers for their good work. Number two, the board will firmly enforce the code of ethics and conduct. And it is there in engineering rules of 2019. Number 3, the board will handle disciplinary cases very firmly and conclusively. I know this is being handled very effectively by Engineer Matu and his committee, but we want to assure engineers here that where we have disciplinary cases, we'll handle them very, very firmly and conclusively. The second point that has come up during this convention, and the members of the rapporteur, if you have not captured them, you can capture them. We are still on session. Is that engineers should be globally competitive. Kenyan engineers should be globally competitive. How do we achieve this? The key is with our colleagues in the academia. We expect you in academia to support the board to accede to the International Engineering Alliance through Washington Accord signatory. How do we do this? Committing to have all engineering programs taught at our universities being accredited by the board. We should not allow students to finish programs and then they are the ones going out to make noise. And when they were with you, you are not telling them their courses are not meeting the standard. Number 2, we expect you to adjust the engineering programs to be outcome-based. And that has been talked about here. I heard Professor Ndiek saying he teaches his students so that when they finish, they go out doing programs or projects. That is what we mean by outcome-based curricula. You are not amending your curriculum, but just adjusting so that it is practically oriented. Number 3, we expect you to commit to have the faculty graduate engineers translate to professional engineers. And I think the registrar talked about this when she was giving her comments. Number 4, we expect you to come up with the research programs that are applied of application nature so that those research programs can be implemented, and while they have been implemented, then they can also be used for your registration into professional engineer. The benefits of acceding to this Washington Accord are enormous. Number 1, our universities will be centers of excellence, attracting international students and earning this country a forex, which you so dearly need. Number 2, our faculty will become internationally attractive and will be able to go out into other jurisdictions as external examiners and short-term consultants. Number 3, our Kenya engineers will have the credentials to bid for contracts without relying on foreigners. You heard what our minister told us, that because we are so honest as engineers, we enjoy sign agreements which are not legally binding. So this time, we'll be able to do this project without necessarily being invited by the foreigners, but inviting them. And therefore, our laws will apply. And finally, and there are many more, Kenya engineers will work in International Engineering Alliance member states without restrictions. Currently, we have only 2 members in this continent, and we want to congratulate our brothers and sisters from Nigeria, because in June they became signatory, and they have already started reaping benefits of this. So let us also work hard to join this. The third point I want to talk about is Kenya has a shortage of professional engineers. We have been told we have about 3,000 engineers against the demand of 10,000. And this demand is not imaginary, but factual, because in 2019, UNESCO released a report of the service of engineers to the community. And in the middle-income country like us, Kenya, it was established, that report recommends that we have one engineer serving a community of 5,000. So if you take our population to be 50 million, we need 10,000 professional engineers. Currently we have 3,000, so we have a shortage of 7,000. And therefore, we are committing ourselves from this convention to effectively and purposefully undertake mentorship programs conducted by IEK so that as many graduate engineers can be mentored and transit. We are also taking a commitment that all agencies employing graduate engineers will implement the IEK 3-year graduate engineer internship program. You start looking at those graduate engineers not as your employees, but as your graduates. And after 3 years, get them to say the professional examination. Those who have already done more than 3 years are qualified. They can submit their papers to do this in professional examination. And we want to recognize the good partnership we have with some of the agencies, Isuzu, Kena, KPOC, KPC, Ketraco, Kengen, and so many other agencies who we are partnering and going out to do special mentorship programs so that the graduate engineers can transit. This is necessary, and we are taking it as a commitment. Number 3, IEK Graduate Engineers Program will expand from the current 120 to 500 to 1,000 and continue increasing. And to be able to do this, then we require adequate funding because this is a government-sponsored program, and therefore we are appealing to our colleagues in that side of financing to also plan for this so that we'll be able to implement. Again, this was directed by His Excellency the President in Naivasha, and we have no choice because it is a presidential directive, and you know in our performance contract there is implementation of the presidential directives. What the registrar will make sure does is to make sure all the other interested and stakeholders also capture this as a pending assignment so that it is done. Number 4 is that the board will expand the pre-submission conference to be more frequent and expanded to accommodate more of the engineers so that every quarter, and if the numbers increase, we are now doing one program per quarter. But if the numbers increase, there is nothing which stops the board from doing this on a monthly basis or even a fortnightly basis because we are committed to do this. So engineers, please note and take advantage of this. Number 5, the board will expand the professional interviewing panels to include all engineering disciplines. We have a lot of engineering disciplines that have emerged, chemical, mechanical, aerospace, mining, and you know now the government is paying a lot of emphasis on mining. The president was here not long time ago, challenging the Taita Taveta University to have that mining program to be professionally relevant, so that the mining graduates can professionalize that industry. So again, we are committed to expand so that no engineers will feel intimidated or mistreated or disowned by those sitting in the panel. They will meet their match in these panels. We are also encouraging, expanding so that we have more women, and I want to thank the board. They have really expanded, and there are many women in the panel, but we want to have more, and also the PWDs. Number 6, we want to encourage the corporates and the government agencies to include in graduate engineer program and engineering attachment in their engineering projects by providing, and this was raised by the president, even in our president, in the presence of His Excellency the Deputy President when he was opening, that if we put an allocation in bill number 1 of 2.5% or 1% or whatever percentage, and then dedicated to graduate engineers internship program and attachment program for the engineers from the universities, then the outcome-based curricula we are talking about will be realized, and our engineers will be able to graduate to professional within 3 years. My third point that I picked during this convention is operationalization of the Kenya School of Engineering and the Kenya Academy of Engineering and Technology. Again, I appeal to all our stakeholders to support the board. You have heard the registrar saying by June this year, the Kenya School of Engineering will be up and running. The benefit of this institution is to bridge the gap. Where we have gaps here and there, they will be addressed by this institution. But we are also encouraging our universities, and we are very open about this, where students have done programs which are not engineering, and they want to translate into engineering. Let us discuss, let us agree on the curricula, and then that curricula can be implemented so that when those graduates now finish, they will become professional engineers. IEK is committed to do this, and we also encourage our colleagues in the academia to help us achieve this. I chanced to meet the PS for State Department of University Education and Research the other night. She was here also attending to one of the programs, and we agreed next month, first week of next month, she will receive us to discuss on how we can do some of these things. My final point is engineers' welfare. The board, in partnership with IEK, have a very useful engagement with the Public Service Commission to address the welfare of the public service engineers. As you are aware, last year the board got the government to approve the engineer scale of fees, and these are mainly applicable to the private sector, those in consultancy, construction, and so on. And we want to thank the government for embracing these fees, and because early this year we saw the Public Procurement and Advisory Authority issuing a circular and asking the procuring agencies to take these rules into account when they are managing their procurement. So we really want to thank the government for this. In the same token, we don't want the engineers in the public service to be left behind. And we have under a meeting, a very useful meeting with the Public Service Commission, which they told us is very unique. We attended together with IEK, KETRAB, and the Institution of Technologists and Technicians here in this hotel in September. We had a very useful meeting, and the discussions are going on. What we aim to achieve in this is to get the Public Service Commission to come up with the career progression and the schemes of service for engineers in the public service. I heard that there is a resolution to that effect. It will have to be amended to speak the right language, because we or the IEK don't develop the schemes of service. It's government which does. We are just a very important stakeholder, and in discussing with them to give them the technical input. Mr. President, with those very many interventions, I want to thank these delegates for the commitment. I think this convention has been very unique, a lot of commitment, sitting here, sitting in other rooms, because we all can't fit here, and our colleagues online. It has been a great commitment, and I hope all of us have benefited. And I want to assure, especially the young engineers, you have every space to excel in your technology, to excel in your innovation, to excel in your projects, like we saw last night, those who had done research programs, and we saw you are being embraced by your senior engineers. And I want to assure you that the board will support you to become a professional, and then you can go. Even if you want to diversify after that, become a contractor or become a banker or a financial analyst, at least you'll be having your title there, engineer so and so, although you are working in the bank. And you'll be a great ambassador for this institution. So we want to encourage you not to give up. I know when so many problems surround us, we tend to give up. But we should be guided by what great men of God have done in the past. Somebody like Job, who was a very rich man that time. I think he was the richest man in the world. But because Satan requested God to go and test him, he lost everything, including his children, his wealth, and all that. He suffered so much until his wife told him, "Why don't you curse this God and you die?" But he stood firm. He said, should we always be thanking God when we are receiving in plenty? We should thank him when we are suffering. So I want to encourage you, no matter how turbulent the waters are, there is hope. Just remain focused, achieve one thing at a time, and the rest, God will open doors. Thank you very much. It is now my duty and privilege to invite the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya to come and address us and invite our chief guest. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, our chairman, Engineer Erastus Mungera. Allow me, members, before I get into my remarks, first of all, to appreciate the council that we work together with. And I just want to ask all the council members who are present here to just stand up so that we can appreciate all of us. Let me start from here. I know all of you must have really interacted with the red card, the yellow card guy. And his name is Paul Ochola, Engineer Paul. Our Honorary Secretary, Engineer Shama Kiteme, and also the chair of the strategic plan. Engineer Flora Kamanja, the chair of the Women Engineers Committee. Of course, our first Vice President, Engineer Grace Kagondu. Our immediate past President, and of course, the Honorary Secretary of WCCE, and also the Executive Council members of WFEO, Engineer Nathaniel. Engineer Patrick Otuoma, the chair of the North Rift branch. Engineer Harrison Keter, the chair of the South Rift branch. Engineer Hannah Njeri, the chair of the Central branch. Engineer Dr. Damaris Oyaro, the chair of Capital branch. Engineer Jennifer Ngashe, the chair of the Events and Conference Committee. Engineer Jennifer Korir, the vice chair of the PRAC committee. Members, also allow me to appreciate the work that has gone into planning of this convention. I can assure you this year we did not utilize the services of service provider. We actually utilize the services of our secretariat in terms of management and planning of this convention. And I want to appreciate the CEO and the secretariat team, the three managers, Grace, Fulgence, and Engineer Kenneth, all with all the secretariat staff. Can we just wave to the ground, please? Where is the secretariat team? They are all over. You can see they have really done a magnificent job in this particular regard, and we appreciate you all. Our chief guest, the president of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, the chairman of Engineers Board of Kenya, the CEOs and DGs present here today, the presidents of the professional engineering institutions in Africa and beyond, the council members present here, the eminent engineers present here, distinguished delegates. Allow me first of all to appreciate also my board chair. You know, on Monday I will be going back to job. I don't want to go back there and find that I have no place to stick. I've actually seen my board chair and a board member and another board member. I just want to appreciate them. Can they just be upstanding so that we can appreciate Engineer Ezra Odhiambo, Engineer Maundu, and of course, our very own Liz Lenjo. Thank you so much. I want to salute all of us. And I must say, I'm just counting my days. In the next 5 months, I will be a retired president. But I can assure you, I've been told by people that this convention, compared to the other convention, we have had and demonstrated some improvement. And I want to really appreciate all of us. It has taken the commitment of all the stakeholders present here today to make this convention a success. For the last 2 days, I must say that we have been very historic to the engineering fraternity in Kenya, in the region, and beyond. As promised in my welcoming remarks, delegates, guests have been able to come together to engage in rich knowledge exchange. And this has happened in the various sessions that we've had here. We have been able to compare notes on the emerging developments on our diverse engineering domains and articulate on the areas that are emerging very well. In addition, we have been challenged across 3 linkages of industry, the regulator, and of course, the academia. And these are on areas that are all require our champion to deliver on our engineering a new world. The resolutions that have been read before us will be pursued and actions taken so as to realize the implementation of the same, both in the short term, in the medium term, and of course, in the long term. We shall engage the various stakeholder players at the various times to operationalize all these resolutions. The Institution of Engineers of Kenya, of course, in collaboration with the Engineers Board of Kenya, wishes to express their gratitude to all the distinguished guests, delegates from the international arena, the regional arena, and of course the national arena for participating in this convention. We want specifically to thank our President of the World Federation of Engineering Organization for finding time to be with us here from the first day to the last day. Presidents of the various professional institutions from Africa and beyond, I must say, I'm really humbled for your dedication, for your commitment also to be here from the first day to the last day. To all our members, our membership, I think welfare is our greatest ambition. And we want to commit that we shall continue to champion for your rights and privileges that are enshrined within our Constitution, and also to implement our strategic plan across the 5 pillars that we have established so that we can move in the right direction in the next 5 years. I want to appreciate the presenters who have been very dedicated from the first day to date, having given us very rich content in their presentations. We've had very rich keynote speakers, and we want to appreciate your presence here. And even as we go forward, when we give you an invitation, please don't hesitate to honor it. Of course, we also want to thank our moderate chairs and all the DGs and the CEOs and the board members. This, I must commit and I must admit, it has been very fulfilling to me that the DGs and the CEOs and the board members can sit in a convention like this for 5 days continuously and be able to engage with our engineering fraternity. And I can assure you next year we'll even be better than this. Now, as the curtain draws to a close, I want to request all the engineering practitioners, stakeholders, partners, to carry with them the insights and the new learnings acquired from these 3 days and employ them on as applicable to advance the discourse of our new chapter of engineering a new world. Finally, chief guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by wishing all of us a safe journey back home as now you engage with your families. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Now it is my singular pleasure to take this opportunity and allow all our members present here today to rise up as we welcome our chief guest, the President of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, Engineer Mustafa B. Shefu, to come and address us.
Please sit down. You know, the president is a very powerful man. The EBK, I mean the IEK president. Actually, this assignment he has given me is actually a breakfast ambush. He just ambushed me, you know, I was about to take my breakfast, and actually I decided to have the whole of this day to rest because tomorrow I will be traveling back to Nigeria. Last week, by this time, I was in China. And when I get back to Nigeria on Monday, I will take another flight to Indonesia. So that is the price I'm paying for the position I'm occupying now. But later when I came here, I heard that reliably he got the go-ahead to ambush me from my senior brother, the IBK chairman. And you know the IBK chairman is my senior and I respect him so much. And what also people should know is that seniority is seniority. You can never, bridge that seniority, no matter the position you occupy. So being a president of IEK, NSC, or WFEO does not make you senior to those people who are already senior to you. You know them and they know you. And I have one there also from Ghana. Yes, so the president, IEK, Engineer Eric Ohaga, the chairman, EBK, Engineer Erastus Mwangera, the presidents of the engineering institutions here present. I have not seen my president of Nigerian Society of Engineers, but I've seen Aisha, but I've seen my good friend, Engineer Kwabena from Ghana, and I was also with the Uganda Professional Engineering Institution president. So anyway, all the engineering leadership of the engineering institutions here present, the fellows and members of the Engineering Institution of Engineers Kenya, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to commend the leadership of IEK for the very cordial relationship you have with their government. And I think this is very important. Otherwise, I have experienced a lot of conferences where you come, nobody from the government side will be around. It's just like the engineers speaking to themselves. And then we start advocating, blaming the government for this or for that, but nobody hears us. And when we even write the communique, we don't even share it with the relevant people. But the fact that the leadership of IEK has been able to bring the deputy president here with some ministers, honestly, is a very commendable effort. So I want you to really continue on that track and make sure also you follow up on all the issues that were discussed with the government so that it leads to fruition. I'm also glad that the EBK chairman has mentioned this issue of quackery, which the deputy president has mentioned that we have engineers or even non-engineers actually practicing in the engineering domain. It is good we have that portal where we register all projects so that we know who is responsible for any project. But in addition to that, probably there is another system in Nigeria. Well, maybe you can talk to your colleague in the Council for the Regulation of Engineering. In Nigeria, just because to address that, we have the mandate to have a tribunal within the council. We call it current tribunal. And the current president sits like a high court judge. And we have some lawyers also who, we sit together with in case of any infraction in the engineering practice, be it done by any engineer or any other practitioner. He's reported to the current tribunal, and the current tribunal sits and acts like a court. So I think if people know that there will be action on whatever they do, people will sit up. Because what I discovered in life is that, generally speaking, wherever you see that things are going well, is because there is a definite action against the wrongdoing. But think of anywhere, be it the UK, the US, United Arab Emirates, Singapore, if you do something wrong, you will never escape. And that's why things are done right. Not because they are naturally good. There is nowhere on earth where the people are naturally good. Just nowhere. Wherever you see things are going well is because there is immediate action to be taken. So when you measure that cutting corners or doing the wrong thing, you will not escape. You will just have to do the right thing. If you go to UAE, why things are safe there is because when you do things, there is no mercy. And no cutting corners, nobody will defend you, no godfather, no nobody. You will just face the wrath of the law. So I think that is what we are missing in this part of the world, actually. The strict adherence to rules and order and punishing those who are responsible for their wrongdoings. And people keep doing the wrong because they see others escape and make a fortune out of doing the wrong. So that is why the others also do. But if you see that you are punished, sometimes even you are killed, you understand, depending on the gravity of the offense, because if you cause deliberately the lives of people, if it is deliberate, just you want to make money, I mean, your life is not worth it. You should just go. So if somebody knows that he's not going to live to enjoy the money he has illegally or wrongly acquired for himself, I mean, it's not worth it. So he will just do the right thing, and you will see that the society is prospering. So please, IBK chairman, I think maybe you can, I know the Korean president is a friend, you can have a discussion with him, look at that angle, if it is possible. I mean, we can also implement such things. About the Washington Accord accreditation, let me commend the Engineers Board of Kenya for their effort, and I'm assuring you we shall do whatever is possible. I am in constant touch with the International Engineering Alliance. We want to see a situation whereby the process is made very clear and probably shorter, because I don't believe we should be taking 5 years just to be accredited with IEK. I mean, we're all engineers, and a lot of us here, even those who qualified here, are practicing in the UK, in the US, and all over the world, and they are not any inferior. And even my ascension to the leadership of WFO is another testimony to that. I don't have any qualification from the UK or US. I have never, the maximum stay I had in the US or UK or any country outside the world is 1 month. Maximum, you know, and all my practice also is in Nigeria. I have never practiced abroad. And today, by the grace of God and Commonwealth or the Global Engineering Fraternity, I'm the president of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. So we should believe in ourselves. There is nothing that is too much for us, and really, there is no reason why we should take so much a long time trying to be accredited or signatories to the Washington Accord. So we shall follow up on that, and definitely, I mean, we have to get a fast-track, process toward that. Another thing I want to use this opportunity to say is that we are aware that the WFU has worked hard to get the approval of the UNESCO to declare the 4th of March as World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. And it is expected of all engineering institutions, regulatory institutions, engineering companies, and universities to celebrate that day. And I believe if you go to the World Engineering Day website, there's a lot of information. Currently, there is this hackathon. I don't know whether that has been circulated to the young engineers and the students. I want to see, under my leadership, a lot of participation from Africa. That is what will make me feel, yes, our people are aware of WFU. So I want, please, IEK and all the institutions in Africa to be very aware and to be participating actively in whatever happens at the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. Another thing I want to comment is we have had the resolutions read by the rapporteur. I have shared some of my comments with the President. Probably he will discuss with them, because this is not a time to comment on the resolution. But it is very important we come up with these resolutions and share it with all the stakeholders. Share it with all the stakeholders, because people have come from far and wide. They have contributed in generating these resolutions. And actually, most of the recommendations that are being provided here for Kenya are actually applicable to Nigeria, are applicable to Ghana, to Sierra Leone, to Ethiopia, to most of our countries. So we need these resolutions, and we also need to follow up on all the stakeholders. There are some parts of the resolutions that will be, you need to follow up with the government, some with the engineering regulator, some with the institutions like WFEO, some with institutions like the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, like the issue of the Africa Engineers Register. It has been captured in the resolution, but we need to walk the talk. It's one thing for us to generate a catalog of resolutions. It's another thing for us also to implement it. So please, Mr. President, I urge you to hurry up and tidy up the resolution, share it with all the stakeholders, and also follow up. And I also don't know whether we have a mechanism whereby we measure the success of our resolutions year after year. Last year we had a conference, 2 years ago we had a conference, 5 years ago we had a conference. Where are those resolutions? How far have we gone in achieving those resolutions? Otherwise, we keep on gathering, spending 4 days, 5 days, discussing, brainstorming, getting our good brains to make presentations to us, getting our top leaders to come and commit. But then if we write them, we don't relate what we have done last year to what we are doing today. So it's very important, probably maybe you can set up a committee to look at the book of resolutions. How many resolutions were generated 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Then out of those resolutions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many have we really tried to make sure that we have implemented the contents of those resolutions? So I think this way wise we can, you can stand up one day to say, yes, yes, we have decided to do this, but now we have achieved so percentage of success on this. We may not achieve 100%, But even if we achieve, 40% this time, next year we achieve 60%, I mean, it's a progress. But then we have to keep, track of what we have told ourselves to do. Because resolution is what you have decided to do yourself. Nobody brought those resolutions to you. So these are some of the comments I... Okay. So with these comments, I want to also join the EBK president and the IEK president in thanking everybody for the success of this important program. The program could not have been successful without the attendance of all of you, without the participation and contribution of all of you. So honestly, I commend you so much about the success of this program. Also, I am privileged to have attended IEK conferences in the past. I've seen the quality, of the conference, how it is going up, going up over the years. So honestly, Mr. Chairman and Mr. President, I think you should stand up for a better round of applause. Thank you very much. With these few remarks, distinguished engineers, ladies and gentlemen, I want to declare this conference closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we will sit and give you some housekeeping guidelines, then we are done. Thank you very much, President, WFEO, our very own Engineer Mustafa Bishehu. Thank you very much, President, IEK and EBK Chairman. This brings us to a close of this convention. Distinguished delegates, we appreciate each and every one of you who are stuck with us, and we have appreciated the sponsors, we have appreciated everyone who has worked with us. Now, from here, we will be going home or to our various places. That's a fact, the convention is over. However, we still have an afternoon program where we have industrial visits, and we have 2 of them. You appreciate we have been having them running from Tuesday, Wednesday, yesterday, and today. And so today we have a visit to AVA for motor vehicle manufacturing. And then we have the other one for Ketraco. And for Ketraco is 400/220 kVA, KV substation. So please, when you leave here, the buses are ready. They want to pick you up and go towards those industrial visits. Additional notices, we do have lost key with a Mickey Mouse keychain, and this is at the Secretariat. Secretariat is right on your right from where I'm standing as you step out of that door. We also have a wallet for Dr. Chamayek Bosco at Secretariat. So please go and pick, so long as you are Dr. Chamayek Bosco. Now, we also have the ongoing excursions or tourist sites. We appreciate our foreign delegations want to have a tour of the old town. We are organizing that. We have faced a challenge because of the weather, but that offer is still available, and you're going to organize and make sure that you get it. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, we will be standing to have our national anthem, and then we'll be done. I request that the technical team put up our national anthem.
Okay, so we go.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo.
Appreciate it, you guys. I might be tired, but I have to keep working.
Honestly, Nanjia, you're such a workaholic that I don't think you'd enjoy living this kind of life every day.
Is it?
It means it's time for you to get a boyfriend. You're 27 years old. It's about time. Jishing's mother is missing, then I have to go too. I'll help you look for her.
People have depression, but they hide it. They hide it so no one can see it. Not even their close friends or parents.
All I know is if Jingjing were here, she wouldn't like us talking like this.
Of course you didn't expect to find me here.
I'm tired of everyone judging me, saying that I betrayed the company.
At least I'm not the one who opened the door for the snake here.
You're just not caught.
What is this man doing here?
This family has no idea that you are about to betray them.
What do you want?
I'm going to give you Uganda.
I see trans in the family.
Money is an issue here.
So this is personal.
Now we are on the same page.
Did your father send you here?
I answer to no one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm coming after you with all that I have.
You've always been a scam.
Don't call me that.
You will never succeed doing anything in this world without me, Alice.
How do you manage to know every step I take?
Kuongea ni kwamba kweli ofisi ilifungwa kwa sababu ya deni.